Hey, okay, so you just had a great workout. Good job. We're gonna go into our post workout. You need your foam roller and maybe a mat just for stretching. So if you have a timer, you can set your timer, or you can just go by feel. But you're gonna start with your foam roll. We're gonna do foam rolling of your quad, your TFL, which is the muscles that are, we like to say your pocket muscles. So if you put your hands in your pockets, that's where your TFLs are, tensor fascia lata, and then your glutes. So those are the three main things that we're gonna foam roll. Obviously, if you need to foam roll anything else that feels tight, do it. But those are the main things that I really want you to focus on. So when you go to foam roll your quad, what I like to do is just put the foam roller kind of off to the side of the leg that you're using, so it just doesn't get in the way of the other leg and you can move a little bit better. So you're gonna start with the foam roll right above your knee, and you're gonna kind of be down in more of like a plank position. You're gonna use your arms for support, you'll use your knee for support, and then the leg that's on the foam roller is just nice and relaxed. So you're gonna just go very slow to start. So when you're foam rolling, you really want to go as slow as you can, because if you go too fast, you'll blow right past a lot of the problem areas. And yes, it might be, especially if you're sore, this is going to be maybe a little painful. But if you go nice and slow and controlled, it will usually release a lot faster, and you'll get more out of it. So as you can see, I'm just going very slow. I'm almost making my way up towards the top of my hip at this point. And again, my leg is just relaxed, and I'm just using my arms to kind of push me back slowly, and my knee as just extra support. Another thing to just be conscious of is to just make sure you have a slight brace of your core, so your low back isn't drooping down. Just you always want to be in control of that. So you can go all the way from the top to the bottom, or all the way from the bottom to the top. If you find a spot that feels particularly tight, just hold it. Find that spot and just hold there. Take a couple nice deep breaths. A lot of times as you exhale, those muscles will release. So if you can just spend some time breathing in that area, that would be really great. Another option is if you get to a spot that you're like, oh, this kind of feels terrible. You can also do a bend and extend of your leg while it's on there. So you could bend and extend, or you could windshield wiper from side to side. So those are just a couple other options if you find like a spot, like a real big knot or a really tight area, just to hit it a little bit different, and it might respond a little bit better if you do that. So again, I'll do it from the other direction so maybe you can see a little bit better. So I'll go to my other side, and again, you're only doing about a minute. That minute will, well, depending on how bad it hurts, it might go by very fast, and it might not go by fast enough. So just again, go with whatever feels best for you. You can go on your forearms. You can pop up a little bit if you need a little extra leverage. But you're just gonna, and you could do one arm on a forearm, one hand, whatever is gonna help you to move the best. And so what I try to do is at least one pass going straight up the middle. And then you can also do a pass where you're a little bit more rotated out. So maybe your hips are up a little bit more. Let's see if I can show you a better angle again. So this would be more of where I'm on the outside of my quad, more towards the IT band. You're not really gonna foam roll your IT band. You can't really foam roll your IT band. You're more so foam rolling your vastus lateralis, which is the muscle that's underneath it, one of your quad muscles. And then again, you could go to more of the inside of your quad, and you're just off to the side, kind of rolling the other way a little bit. And again, just going nice and slow and controlled, and just hitting all of that the best that you can. So quad on both sides for 1 minute. Then you're going to go to your TFL. Again, that's like your pocket muscle right up top. So you probably hit it a little bit with doing your quad, but now we're just going to focus on that a lot more. So you're going to hit that top muscle there, and you're just going to kind of roll back and forth just at that very top area, right where that pocket sits. And you can kind of rock your hips kind of in and out. And then you can also do that windshield wiper movement, which we'll get into that a lot more, and you'll probably feel that a good bit. This is one of your hip flexor muscles, so it's really important for runners to really make sure that you're keeping that feeling good, especially because the TFL does feed into the IT band. So if that gets really tight, a lot of times the IT band also gets very tight. So hitting the top, that pocket muscle, just it's a very small muscle. It's not big, so you don't have to go all the way down the leg. It's just maybe you're rolling a couple inches up, a couple inches down in that area. And then again, if you find a tight spot, you can windshield wiper the leg. Then we're going to move on to the glutes. So you're going to sit on your foam roll, and to start with, you can just literally rock to one side and just roll forward and back on that. Again, if you find a spot, again, you want to go nice and slow. If you find a spot that's kind of particularly like, just hold it and try to breathe, focusing on the exhales. And like a lot of times you might just even feel that muscle just release as you do that. If you want to make it a little bit deeper of a stretch or deeper into the muscle, the leg that you are trying to work, you're going to cross that leg, that ankle over your other knee, and then you can roll and do the same thing. So that's just going to make it maybe a little bit more intense of a foam roll. Kind of exposes your piriformis a little bit more when you cross it over that way. So you'll probably feel that. If you're tight like I am, you'll feel that. And then again, you'll just do the other side. So you can use your hand behind you as a balance. You're just rocking, shifting forward and back with the leg that's on the ground. And then again, if you want, you could take that pressure off by uncrossing the leg, and you can even just rock your knees back and forth, and you might feel that a little bit more. So just kind of play around and feel whatever feels best for you, and wherever you feel those tightest spots, just hang out on those spots a little bit longer. So once you get through that, then you'll do your stretches. We have a glute stretch and a hip flexor stretch. So your glute stretch, I'm sure you've seen pigeon pose, or you could also do one on your laying on your back. So one that I just like to do, just because a lot of times I'm just tired, so I just want to be in this position anyway. And then you're gonna bring your one leg up and over, reach through, grab your thigh, and pull your knee towards your face. And so that you'll feel all in that glute here. And then you can rock over to the side. So let's say you have your left leg crossed over, you're going to rock to the right, and that's going to make that stretch even deeper on the left glute. So again, you can hold that position, you can rock side to side. If you want, you could grab the thigh, you could grab the shin, whichever one feels better for you, and just hold and breathe, and just hold that for a minute or so. Another option is to bring that leg all the way over and hold both shins and do that. That'll just hit your glute a little bit different. And then you can relax. So again, maybe from this direction, you're gonna cross over, grab, pull it towards you, and then you can do a rock like this. You can grab the shin to make it a little bit deeper of a stretch, or you can cross the leg all the way over and grab both shins and pull your ankles towards your body as you hold that stretch. So those are some different ideas for that. And then the hip flexor stretch, you're going to be in a kneeling position. There's a couple different ways that you can do this one. This is one. So if you want, fold up your mat underneath your knee so you have a little more cushion, or put a pillow under there. And then, let's see, I'll move back a little bit so you see. So from here, you're going to draw your belly button back a little bit and then shift your whole body weight forward. So you should feel that in the front of this hip here. You can play around with that a little bit by pulling this heel towards your body. You could bring your knee towards your foot, so you're kind of pulling it in both directions in towards the center. And that might give you a little bit extra stretch in the front. You could bring your arms up and then just a slight reach over. You're not bending your whole body, you're just literally lengthening through your fingertips, so it comes that stretch comes all the way down to the knee. So the knee pushes into the ground and the fingertips reach towards the sky, and that will open that up a little bit. You could rotate the upper body if you wanted to do that. And then lastly, this one's pretty difficult if you're not very flexible, but as you're in this position and you're doing all of those things or whatever, you could then try and grab your foot in the back and pull towards your butt. You could use a strap or a towel to do that as well. But you want to make sure that you're keeping your rib cage down. So you want to make sure you're not flaring your rib cage in order to do that. If you have to, then don't do that. Another option would be to put your foot up on a bench or something behind you and be in that hip flexor position. This might even be a good stretch just right here. If that starts to feel like, that's not so bad, then you can start to work your way up and come to a higher position. But again, keep the rib cage down as you hold that stretch. And you never want to hold a stretch where you're like, that hurts so bad, because then it's too much of a stretch for you and that might actually make it tighter. So you want to go to the point where you feel your stretch kick in. Once you feel it stretch kick in, maybe even back off a touch and then breathe in that area. As you breathe and exhale, you might be able to go deeper into the stretch, but never try to overstretch it. It's not about how far you can go in your stretch, but more so about just getting the stretch and being able to breathe and relax, letting your muscles know that it's okay to be in this position. If it feels like it has to go into a fight phase to stay there, it's just gonna tighten up even more. So try to avoid to do that. I'm gonna give you 2 bonus stretches. One is for IT band. So literally just crossing one leg in front of the other. You want to keep, so let's say we're crossing our left leg in front of our right leg. You want to make sure your right big toe stays planted on the ground, and then your hip is going to come out directly to the side. You don't want your hip to come back, because a lot of times if your hip comes back, the IT band's actually going to flip over the bone, and you don't want to do that. So you want your hip to come directly out to the side, and then again you can reach up and over a little bit. You could even do this by a wall. So let's say you cross your right leg in front of your left big toe stays down on the ground, you reach up and then slightly over, so you have something to hold on to, and you're just kind of pushing that hip directly out to the side, and then you just get that stretch that comes all the way down into the floor and up and over. Okay, so breathing through that. And then the last one that I really like is a thoracic rotation, which is just to open up that thoracic region, which is really helpful for anyone really, especially if people have back pain. It's really good. People who sit at a desk and get stuck in this position, it's really good. But for runners especially, just so you can get that thoracic rotation as you're moving. So you go into the fetal position. Again, one arm is going to be on top of the other. We want to make sure that our knees stay stacked, one on top of the other. So a lot of people cheat when they do this one, and as they rotate,
they let this top knee drop back. We do not want you to do that because that puts all the pressure in your low back and you kind of cheat. You want everything to be moving from your belly button up. So as we're here, the top knee stays glued to the bottom knee. It does not move at all. We're gonna reach forward and then bring the arm up and over just to wherever you can get it to go. So again, some people like to just hold the leg there to make sure that they're not cheating. You can do that. You can leave your arm here. It doesn't matter. You're just gonna bring that all the way over and then bring it back. Reach up and over. Ideally, you want it, you would want this arm to get to the floor on the other side. I am not there. I'm kind of tight in my upper body right now. So I do about 5 of these, and then on the 6th one, you can just breathe and relax, maybe 3 full breaths as you do that. So again, you would just go to the other side, and you're going to keep the knees stacked. You're going to reach and rotate to get to the other side. Again, moving just from the upper body. Reach, rotate, and you do that about 5 times. And then on the last one, get those big exhales and just let that relax. And then when you're ready, slowly make your way up. A lot of times after you do a lot of really deep breathing, you can get dizzy. So just make sure you sit for a couple seconds before you get back up. All right, enjoy.